Hello, my name is Lori Rubin. I'm with ViewBug, and I've got the very talented and wonderful Lisa Bettany with us today. Lisa, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
We are really excited because Lisa is going to be the judge for Faces and Places. So we're going to take a look into her world, her portfolio, some of her lovely images. We're going to find out a little bit more about her and get you, inside the viewer's mind, what she's looking for in a winning image. So we're going to start out by finding a little bit more about her. Lisa, why don't you explain to us a little bit about the history of you, how you got into photography, and some of these really incredible awards that you've received. It's just amazing.
Oh, thank you. Well, I guess it all started with kind of a traumatic back injury. I was a competitive figure skater and I suffered a broken back, and that kind of transformed my world. I was sort of an active social person, and then I went from that to being completely bedridden. And during that time, I needed an outlet, and that actually became photography for me. A friend loaned me their camera, and I started taking pictures just around the house. And slowly, as I recovered, I started taking pictures outside and pictures of my friends and this kind of thing. And I started a blog with all my photos, and just the community of photographers on the web really welcomed me. They taught me everything about photography, and I sort of gained all these skills just through talking to other photographers and connecting with them. And that kind of opened up a whole new world for me. And I guess through that experience, I was able to meet up with some influential photographers, and that kind of led to the creation of my first camera app called Camera Plus.
Hmm.
And Camera Plus ended up being quite a big success. And again, I had sort of a life transformation there. And that kind of, yeah, so then I was making apps, and so from there, I guess it's been quite a journey of app building and photography and all kinds of fun things.
That's just incredible. You just seem like such a busy person with all these things that you're doing. That's great. Well, with some of the accolades that you have received include top female tech entrepreneur, top 30 most influential photographers on the web. From this is from Huffington Post and Forbes. I mean, it's just incredible. And you've been featured in major publications as well. So that's so good for you. You've been very
Thank you.
successful. Very good. This is great. Yeah, check out her Camera Plus app, and your new product is called V for Video. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna
I
take.
think it's just vforvideo.com.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, it's sort of Camera Plus for video. It allows you to take snapshots, snap videos, and then edit them, trim them, move them within the frame, and then export them and share them. And it's kind of a really nice workflow for people who are constantly taking videos, but they're just going into their camera roll, they're not using them. And so this allows you to take a bunch of little clips from a moment, and then actually create something that you can share with friends and family. And I don't know, I find myself taking a lot of little videos, but I never really do anything with them. I never really share them. And I think this is great for capturing sort of weddings and birthdays and, even a day out. And you can actually create something really cool. And I've been using it in my own life. And it's kind of nice to have these moments, because oftentimes we're always, focused on just sort of capturing little bits, but we're not really telling a story. And I think it's kind of true with photography and video. It's the most important thing is capturing these moments and sharing a actual story of what happened.
This is great. I am definitely going to have to check this out. V for Video. That's great. Okay, Lisa, we're going to take a look at some of your images now. You are a lifestyle and travel photographer, And it looks like you've traveled to quite a few places around the world. What are some of your favorite places to photograph?
Well, that top image is from Patagonia. Such an incredible location. El Calafate. This is Perito Moreno Glacier, and I had the opportunity to go and walk on this glacier and take these incredible images. It's just very surreal and definitely a place that everyone needs to go to.
That is great. That's an absolutely beautiful image. Let's take a look at a few of your other images and what you're looking for in travel and maybe some landscape photographs here.
Yeah, I guess with this image, it kind of displays how you can just, if you have patience, then you might capture something magical. I was just shooting this sunset. Nothing was really happening. It was kind of a blend, there's nothing really in the background. It's just kind of a flat photo. I mean, the sky was beautiful, but there's nothing really happening. And I was kind of waiting for something. And I sat there for probably about 3 hours waiting for something to happen, and then suddenly this little girl runs right in front, and I captured this shot, and it really transforms an image to have a subject in there to really show some emotion. And this, I love this because it's just kind of, this girl was so free, she was so happy in this moment. It was such a beautiful sunset. It was in Maui. She's obviously on vacation, and I think for me that's what the Places and Faces is kind of about. It's about telling a story in a place. How can you add to a photo of a place? You see a lot of beautiful landscapes, but something about adding a human into that place, that it really tells a sense of scale. It also gives that story. It gives the photo an actual context and story.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's absolutely beautiful, and like you said, it's a nice sunset, beautiful photo. But adding that extra element really adds a storytelling element. You got her little hair backlit and just beautiful tones throughout. So really nice. It's a great example. Okay, let's take a look at a few of your other ones. Interesting perspective too. I mean, for instance, this. I'm just going to pull this up because I think that's kind of fascinating here. You're looking straight up at the sky. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, this is another spectacular and kind of an overly photographed location, Antelope Canyon in Page, Arizona. It's sort of been the scene of many famous photos. So when you go there, you can see, okay, that's the spot everyone shoots. And so I was trying to look for something that somebody hadn't done, but also still getting those iconic shapes and curves. And so that involved a lot of looking up and kind of straying from the crowd and setting up very awkward tripod shots.
Right, right. And I think that's a really good tip because, like you say, you go to these, iconic places and you're photographing these things you've seen a million times, but oftentimes people are afraid or they don't even know to turn around. And sometimes there's something really interesting behind them. Or looking up, in this case that you did, it's just great. It's beautiful.
Usually if your neck is sore and you're uncomfortable, it's probably a good shot.
I love that. I'll have to remember that. That's very good. Here's another example where you have a person in your image. Did you place him there or did you just happen to be there?
No, he was there. One of my favorite shots right now are photographers in their element, and I think we all love to see those. Just to get a sense of where photographers are shooting and what they're doing. They're always doing really cool things. So I'm always happy when photographers I know share behind the scenes shots. But this one was really cool because I'm shooting with a fisheye, which makes the cave look just ginormous. It's actually not that big, but placing him in it makes the cave look ginormous. And then of course it's nicely silhouetted because the sun is going down. And yeah, this was a good shot. It actually was featured in a magazine, so I was
Great.
happy about that.
That's always a good thing, right? That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, and the funny thing with that is, I put a lot of, I share most of my photos on Flickr and Facebook and 500 pixels, and oftentimes I don't really think anything of them. I just put them up, and then, sure enough, a year or two later, somebody will contact me and say, "Oh, I love that picture. Can I use that in a magazine, or for the cover of this, or cover of a book?" And that it always surprises me that the discovery is out there, and I always tell people to share their images because you never know what could happen. It could be, you could make money off it, you could win contests, and so that's why I think it's great what you're doing because you're really promoting people to share their images, and I think it's so important because you never know what could happen.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's some beautiful images on ViewBug. We were talking about that. Just really, really good stuff out there. Okay, Lisa. So, being a world traveler here, looks like you went to Angkor Wat. Tell us about this little girl that's in front of your lens here.
So this is actually an iPhone photo, an iPhone 4S photo. And I went on a world trip and I only took my iPhone. And it was trying to prove to people that they didn't need to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on camera gear to get a good shot. And I really wanted to promote photography to everyone. And so this was take with my iPhone, and I think I was able to get this shot because I was shooting with an iPhone and not, a ginormous camera. Because this little girl came up to me, and we sort of had a little conversation, and she just kind of went, she felt comfortable with me, and I think that's sort of the key in getting these sort of candid moments when you're traveling. And I'm fairly shy. Like I'm not one of those photographers that can just go up to anyone and say, "Can I take your photo?" I'm kind of very shy about that. But in this instance, she came up to me and she felt comfortable with me, and she just kind of went about her business, and she was just playing in the water and just calmly sitting there and enjoying the sunrise, and allowed me to take a bunch of photos, and this was sort of my favorite of that moment.
That's wonderful. And the fact that you took your iPhone on these world
Yeah,
travels. Wow.
it was a challenge, and that was the 4S. And because people are always complaining, it's like, oh well, you got that great photo because you have really expensive camera gear. But when I started, I had one lens and an iPhone, and
Hmm.
that's all I had. And it's definitely challenging, but I think that challenge actually allows you to get better shots, and it sort of makes you a tougher and better and stronger photographer. I mean, if you were just given a really expensive DSLR at the get-go, I don't know if you'd really get the hustle,
Right,
And
right.
a good photographer has to hustle, and when you're just shooting with an iPhone, you have to move your body, you have to physically get low, you have to physically move closer to a subject because you don't have crazy zoom lens. You can't just sit on a
Right.
chair 200 meters away and snipe shots. You have to get up and go, and that's what that whole, I mean, I came back really quite sore from the amount of walking and blisters on my feet, and because you have to just, I was constantly squatting and getting low and, really getting in close to subjects.
And that's something you wouldn't have been able to do if you had that heavy equipment, like you said. So that's great.
Oh, yeah, I definitely couldn't have done that with my Canon. Yeah, I would have just died carrying that around.
Yeah. And for travel, having a nice little iPhone tucked in, your purse or in your wallet or backpack, whatever, that's nice and light. And it's always with you. It's that camera that's
Yeah, yeah.
always with you. We looked at some of your beautiful images and got little stories behind some of these. Now, for your winning image, what is it that you're looking for when you're looking through all these images that are going to be coming at you from ViewBug? What makes you stop in your tracks and say that is a winning image for Faces and Places?
Yeah, so I think it's kind of twofold. The first is obviously that the technical ability is there, so it has to have good composition, good exposure, sharpness and color. And then, the second part is the artistic, and it's kind of, obviously an intangible, but I have to feel something when I look at it. It has to tell me something more about the location. And I think that it has sort of a style. It's stylized. You can tell something about that photographer by the photo. And I think that those are my main points.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, well, Lisa, thank you so much for sharing your insights and a little bit of your world, and really appreciate it. So thank you very much, and thanks everyone for watching.
Yeah, thanks, and good luck to everyone. I look forward to seeing all your photos.
Great, thank you. Bye bye.